did that intensive schooling, do you feel that muscle drive you more with writing?
Not writing, because I fucking can't stand writing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the comedic process
Something
for
about,
sure.
yeah.
For sure. And I've started to notice it because being a doctor especially, and let alone my brain with whatever I've done ever, YouTube, anything I pick up that I'm trying to do, I've noticed by the 1100th time of doing that thing, I'm already finding shortcuts. I'm already like crafting like a better way to do it, becoming more efficient at it, whatever I've ever done in my life. So school the same way, learning more efficiently how to study, do better at tests or whatever. And even as a doctor specifically, it's all pattern recognition. Like someone comes in complaining of A, B, C, I already know how to get to X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
So I'm started to notice that with comedy, especially the more I do it, where I'm like, oh shit, I'm recognizing this pattern.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this too, like, oh, I've started to, kind of piece this together. And
You see the music behind it. Yeah.
So like, so you got to read the room. You got to, come up with some fallback lines if this line doesn't do well. You got to, I'm noticing that part of what's funny is just addressing something.
Yes.
Like not even making it funny, just addressing it. And everyone laughs.
Yes, the weird elements of what funny is doesn't necessarily have to be like, you look like a duck with a mustache. It could just be like a joke bombs and you go, like maybe break the awkward silence with a sniff or just go like, okay. Like, kind of getting, there's so many different elements. And kind of, then you see the pros do it and you're like, oh, he's just wearing a tool belt and whipping out those tools.
And, we were talking about Mark Norman. Comedy.
See, but he's a different... my opinion of Mark is he's so well written, but he doesn't even make eye contact.
Yeah.
Like, but he does address awkward situations and stuff.
But he's talked about this on, I don't know if you listened to that Let's Talk About Sets podcast.
Yeah, I have listened to the Norman one.
Yeah, And all these other comics that break it down, and even the hosts of it, they're treating it almost like I treat it as a doctor, like a diagnostician, like kind of dissecting and looking at the anatomy of something.
Yes.
Right? And with Mark, it's like he's done this so many times.
Yeah.
He's literally just an autopilot. He's not even thinking up there.
Yeah.
He's just up there doing the thing. And I've started to appreciate that a little bit more. And this is what I was alluding to earlier with going to more shows and going to less open mics, is when I'm seeing these same comics that I actually really like over and over, let alone if I've seen them on YouTube or Netflix or whatever. And I'm like, oh, dude, I've listened to this joke 4 times now. But it's still crushing. And I'm just noticing the little intricacies of it. And then all of a sudden that gives me more confidence to be like, dude, I think I can fucking do this.
Yeah, that's special. That's such a great thing about New York is you can see, you mean like working it out. And then you also see, I struggled with something. You talked about something yesterday that I don't necessarily have advice for, but I thought it was very cool because when I started in Arizona, I didn't do comedy class or whatever. I don't have anything against people who do that at all because it doesn't matter. A lot of people hate like, oh, you went to a class. Like I have friends that have filmed specials and they started it, but I did the same thing with yours. Like every week I made a new 5 minutes or something, and I was always like, why? And then you get to see these comics stick with their jokes for a year straight, 6 months straight, and you're like, okay, that's why it's a great joke. They're not budging from something they really want to make funny.
Right.
Yeah, so that yesterday you told me that you like to have new material, and then but what a recent show you stuck with the hits and tried to improve them. And I think both of those strategies are good, but recognizing that took me a long time.
Yeah.
Because when I was newer, I was like, oh no, this guy's gonna see me at another mic. I gotta change it up, and it's like, no,
he's not listening anyway.
Yeah, he's not listening. And even if
or he already left.
Yeah. And even best case scenario, would that fellow comic ever buy a ticket to see you?
Right.
No.
Yeah. No, I've definitely realized that, and what I'm really proud of, not to toot my own horn, but I'm really proud of how quickly I am picking the shit up. Like
I would imagine that's what sorry to cut you off, but that's what I see with people that are in higher. You went through something so much harder. That's what I think.
That's the argument. I would argue it's not that this isn't harder. It's harder differently. So I think I'm just lucky in my skill set. I don't think every doctor could do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Being funny or not. I'm just saying like there's something I've learned about just humanity specifically or generally where I'm just like, okay, this is a puzzle. I just have to find the pieces, and the pieces here are different than medicine, but they're still pieces. Go find the fucking pieces.
I do. I say Rubik's cube.
Okay.
As far as whether it's a joke or something, it's like for me, if I think of it as a Rubik's cube, something in my head is like it's not impossible, but it's going to take me a while.
Yeah.
And I'm not. What is it? The Pursuit of Happiness. I'm not Will Smith in the Taxi Cab. But I'll figure it out.
Right.
Yeah, man. Jokes.
Good night. I'm Kevin Hart. Yeah. No, it's just it's a beautiful thing, and I was just one of those guys, man. I never thought I'd be funny. I was not the class clown. I was not anyone ever looked to for jokes.
Yeah.
And I think my biggest problem is I find almost everything funny, or at least find the funny in everything.
Yeah.
Which is great for me personally, but it also sucks when I turn it around because now I'm trying to make other people laugh.
Yeah.
And that threshold is higher than my threshold in general. So that's
the weird thing. Like, this is funny to me, right? And you're like, oh, this is not funny to you. Or you have to. I guess that's why they said the setup is the most important, because it's like you need to build that foundation. So what drew you to it then?
So I was always into it. You were talking about how like you heard that fish joke and drew you. The thing that got me was a Dane Cook joke about the pickles.
Ah, yeah, the BK Lounge.
Pickles,
yeah,
and the pickles, and on the third, I was on the floor, couldn't breathe, right? And I just thought this was like a blessing bestowed upon just a select few human beings who are just able to do this.
Yeah.
Right? I had no idea about the method behind the madness and all that, and the Mark Norman's just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
boom,
he's
boom.
just a hard worker.
Yeah. You don't see that. So especially as a kid, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So I just didn't really think about it. I was like, oh yeah, it's just not for me. Yeah. And then same thing with YouTube. I never pictured myself doing it. And next thing you know, I'm like, dude, I can fucking do this.
Yeah, when you see other people upload, you're like, all they did was press play.
Yeah. So I think that helped. The YouTube's been a tremendous help. Just learning who I am as a person. And just
you mean like being able to see yourself?
Yeah.
Does that help you, or what? How is there another way you see?
Well, just because like constantly growing up, I was just shitted on. So whether it was my family,
why is that?
Not literally, but that's why I went into GI. I just always shitted on, man. Because again. My threshold for what was funny was low, so I'm laughing at things. People are looking at me like, "What the fuck is wrong with this?"
What do you
kid?
mean? Like you're laughing at like just
the dumbest
you're just
things,
a quirky
like,
kid, right?
It's got a little bit of coffee left in it. It's hilarious. Like just things that aren't funny to most, if not everybody.
As
and
a
I'm
kid, they're like,
funny. And like, what is wrong with this kid?
Yeah, this kid's laughing at everything.
Today we talk about